afternoon, everyone. It's been a day for me since we frame sabered this bike, and now it's time to do some touch-up paint and general cleaning. So you can see there's little spots pretty much all over the frame, as you'd expect from a bike this age. Sorry about that. Let's see, there's definitely some healthy ones down here, and then along the bosses or butts. So yeah, we're gonna give this bike a clean, because as you can see, there's some old grease in the cups, and I've already done a pretty good job of getting most of the stuff on the bike itself, but we just want to make sure it's totally clean. So I'm going to take some odorless mineral spirits and just give this paint a little bit of a scrub, and then give it a few minutes to dry, and we'll be right back. Alright, so we just did a quick clean on the bike. Took the rubbing alcohol, mineral spirits, and scraped everything down. But now it's time to get the touch-up paint. So I'm using Duplicolor pens. These are the all-in-one scratch fixer pens. So at the top you have focus, like an abrasive tip, which you can see I've already done some of the prep work just to make video easier. So you rub this over the scratch to flake up any loose paint, and get some whatever oxidation is on the area off. Then you have a core central area that has the paint in it. It's got a little like paint pen applicator, and then if you can unscrew the whole thing and get like a brush, and then it has a clear coat in this capsule in the bottom. So you can see that I have three colors. I have intense blue pearl and poppy red. So those are the blue and the red. So I don't know how close they'll be. Obviously these are meant to be exact colors for cars, and obviously this is a bike, so I'll just try to get as close as possible. I'm not too particular, so we'll just see how it goes. And then universal white, which seems to be slightly creamish, which is ideal considering that the white paint on the body of the frame, see if I can get a good picture of it, is kind of pearlescent white. So we'll see how it goes, but I figured I'd show you a little bit of prep here and try and take you through how I do the process on the example, and then I'll kind of walk through afterwards and talk about how how it comes out once I've done some of them in a few colors. But let's zoom in real quick. So basically what you do, you can use they say on the videos and the instructions you can use like the precision point, or you can hold it flat in a braid. I found the point to be better in general. Maybe that's just personal preference, but basically you just do this. You can see I'm getting some of that really fine stuff out of this. I'm not really using any pressure, just literally the pressure that the weight of the pen. And then now that it's been abraded, I'm going to come through with a rag and just give it a wipe. They also say that you can use mineral spirits to remove any polish, wax or any other coating, but I'm just going to, I already gave the whole bike a wipe down with mineral spirits, so I assume whatever else is on there has come off. So yeah, that's how the prep works. So once you get that done, you have to go to the paint mode. So I'm going to shake the paint pen up and be right back. Okay, so like I mentioned before, you have two options. You have this precision tip, and then you can unscrew to get a larger area tip. Since I'm doing a fairly large chip here, I'm going to unscrew it. So let's see if I can do this on camera. Might be a little tricky. Yeah, I'm going to have to come back, but I'll be right back with the undone tip. Alright, now that I got it nice and loose, there we go. You can see my highly amateur videography here. You lift it up and hey presto, a brush. So let's zoom in and see how this comes out. You can definitely smell how obnoxious this stuff is in real life. It's pretty nasty. But basically you just very lightly apply it and let it self homogenize and flatten. Oh, there it goes. Tracked out of the frame. But I'll hit a few other spots while I'm in the area. Let's see. there. So basically this is what I'm going to be doing for the rest of the afternoon, is finding little itty bitty spots on the frame, and I've already prepped all the other spots except for the one I showed you just to have an example. It's 2 o'clock. Let's see. Alright, I think that's it for this side, so we're going to let this dry for a minute and we'll come right back and see how it's going. Alright, I just want to give a quick example of how the precision tip works. So we're going to just squeeze very gently to get a little bit out, and then we're going to basically draw with it and fill the void. So we'll walk around to the other side real quick. Hopefully you can get a good view. So it's clearly not perfect. We'll see if it dries perfect. But good enough to protect the bike, and so basically for this stuff you wait 30 minutes and it's considered tack dry and you can apply the clear coat. So I'm going to go around the bike and do all the various colors one at a time, and then by the time I finish I should be good to go back and put clear coats on the blue and then work my way through. So I'll be back in a little bit. Back real quick with one random thought here, but basically I was having a hard time with even the precision applicator because some of these chips are maybe the size of the size of the point of a pin, like 32nd or less of an inch across. So even the lightest tap on the applicator was letting too much out. So what I did was I'm in the kitchen, so I grabbed a knife. Basically I'm looking for a palette. I'd apply a little to the knife, and then I would use the precision applicator like a very fine brush and like dab it in this little puddle on the knife, and then run it up and down. So that was a nice helpful thing for me. If you're doing anything similar even on your car and it's a really small chip, this might work good for you, so you're not, constantly having to dab up a bunch of excess. Alright, so in a move that surprises nobody, the sides of the seat stays that are easy to get pelted from the front with rock and debris during turns are the area that I'm going to be focusing on, mostly for the red. You can see scratches all along and chips along here, and then inside the dropout area you got some on this side, some on this side. So it's just going to be a spot that I'm going to have to focus on for the next few minutes. Alright, so as you can see, obviously the color matching is not perfect and it looks kind of weird and dark right now, partially because of the lighting and partially because it's like kind of clouding as it dries. But I think it'll come out okay. The texturing isn't perfect. In an ideal world, in the future I would probably wet sand all this, like let it fully dry, wet sand it, and then go back and redo it. But realistically, all I'm trying to do is get it pretty close and prevent any further rust issues. So there we go. I'm moderately happy with this section. Like I said, I'm not expecting anything crazy out of this stuff. If it dries and it lightens the shade and it blends a little better, that'd be great. But otherwise, yeah, I'll just keep on trucking along and start looking at some of the whites. So the only white area I noticed, there are some like really teeny pinpricks along the down tube. The only area I noticed that was properly chipped is right here next to the R, and I applied some of the white, and I guess as I might have feared, it was kind of an obvious, it was just a shade too light a white. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit it with a little clear coat when I go around and do the clear coats, and we'll just call it good, and that'll be protected from rust, because I didn't want to have anything next to the logo that was like super obviously not the right shade. So I'll be back in a little bit. Alright, let's get this puppy done with. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a super big fan of how it came out, but like I said, really was just in it for the rust protection. So if I really hate it enough, I can just strip it back down later and just put a clear coat. But basically, so you unscrew the bottom of this pen, it unleashes a clear coat applicator, and then you just go right over to it and give it a little with the clear coat. And I know that doesn't look great on camera, but I will go back and feather it a little bit with the sponge after the fact. But basically just hit all this, and half an hour was a pretty good estimate. You probably could do it in a half an hour. I gave it a little bit longer, and it was actually like completely dry to the touch. So, but this is what I'm going to be doing for the next few minutes, just going around and hitting all these puppies with a little bit of the there we go, a little bit of the clear coat just to finish it off, and then we'll be back for final thoughts. All right, we're about wrapped up here. Yeah, I'd say on the whole, I'm not like massively thrilled with how the finishes came out, but that's totally fine to me for for a regular rider bike. Like, this isn't a museum piece or anything, and it's my first try, so bound to be some mistakes. But you can see from we're standing about 4 or 5 feet away, it looks pretty good. You can see if you know where to look. For example, over here, you can see a little spot. And then on the seat stay over here, you can see some of the spots, but they might lighten and shade a little bit as they dry. But yeah, the paint pens are pretty expensive. They're about $15 each. So in the future, if it's a bike like this, I might just get a thing of clear coat and just clear coat, touch up clear coat the areas that have been chipped, unless they're really bad. But this is a nice practice attempt for me to get some time using these sorts of pens and touch up in general, because it's certainly a skill that's useful for all of us that have cars. So yeah, now that this is done, I'll let it cure for a little bit, come back in a few days, and I'll hit it with wax, and then we'll start talking about build parts. I got most of the group set in, so yeah, hopefully by the next time we chat, I should be able to show you, or next 2 times from now, the finished, or not finished, but the complete group set that I'm going to be using to build the bike up. So until next time, have a great day, and I'll catch you on the next vid.